Alright, we're back, guys. Thanks for watching. We're in the lobby for Frost, and currently just waiting on everyone to ready up.
Shoot. I got my drink downstairs.
Dude, oh my god. So she's gonna hear it while she walks, but I do that all the time. I will walk to my room, water bottle in hand, or something like that, and I'll put it down for like 1 second to check my phone on my way back, and then I'll just walk away from it. I'll be like, what the fuck? Or I'll go to the kitchen with the express intent, no phone in hand, nothing to distract me, and I will fill up my cup of water, I'll put it in the counter, I'll like look at the clock, and I'll just walk back to my room, and I'll completely forget it in there. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? Uh-oh, Hard Revenge found part 2 of the videos. Oh, the StarCraft adventures.
That was pretty extreme. I at least went to the bathroom and just like put it on the counter and forgot. You just...
No, the bathroom's my worst. Anytime I go to the bathroom, I'm forgetting everything else involved with outside of the bathroom.
Gotta focus.
Right? A lot of energy goes into peeing. I gotta stand up. You get to sit down, man. You get to just chillax. I gotta aim and make sure I don't make a mess. Are you kidding me?
I know, being a guy's really tough.
You know, boy, gosh, you have it easy. This is where, like, the Freaky Friday thing happens, right? Like, okay, anyways, guys, we're getting into game number 1. In the top left side, we've got the blue Terran player. We've actually been hosting him a lot more recently, as he's been streaming a lot. It's HeroMarine.
In top right, as the red Zerg, he is Serral, and it'd be more like the hot chick, not Freaky Friday.
Would it be, though? I mean...
I think so.
I guess we're not mother and daughter, so that's true.
Yeah.
But I guess no one really refers to that trope or that situation as the hot chicking. It's always Freaky Friday'd. Or Freaky Fridaying, or what, I don't know. Like, I think it's a much more relative term, is my point.
I hear body swapping, but I think the hot chick is more accurate, though. Well, so the thing is that the hot chick was coincidental in that she got karma'd upon, but she actually bought, like, earrings that she stole earrings that she wasn't supposed to.
Right.
And wore them. But Freaky Friday was because they were arguing.
It's a mix of both, but I think at the end of the day, like, if I was you... Because here's the thing, right? Like, you guys... Like, I don't think I could pull off being a stripper. I just don't think I could do it.
Oh, can you believe that was Rachel McAdams?
I know, right? That's like... Because, of course, you look at her in something like Sherlock, it's like a completely different human being. You're like, wait, what? What's going on here?
I was thinking The Notebook, but she was in Sherlock as well. What would you... Yeah. What was the first thing you do if you body swapped with a woman?
Oh, 100% play with the boobies. There's no doubt in my mind.
Play with the boobies. I would helicopter.
Alright, well, this is where we, like, make the... Let us know in the comments down below, what would you guys do? Alright, so, Serral, by the way, going to get nice with the scout. We are actually talking about the worker sprays in the lobby, and I want to bring this up because I've been kind of teasing the players. I'm like, who's going to use the worker spray first, huh? Come on, type thing. And Naruto brought up a good point of saying you shouldn't use the spray. And not because of any sort of arbitrary set of rules, but there's a bug right now where you can see the sprays, not these ones on the hatcheries, but like when you actually use the worker spray, you can see it through the fog of war in some cases. And on a 4-player spawn map, if you spray, and Serral happens to check, just look down here as he clicks the scout and sees a spray through the fog of war, he's like, oh, well, okay, he spawned down there then.
Yep.
So it feels a little bit sad that this has got a couple of bugs to it, but those will be worked out sooner than later.
Yeah, kind of a couple of different bugs, I suppose, in this recent patch. Seems to always be something. But I'm hoping they fix the mutation bug that... I'm still, like, I guess not enough people complain about co-op to begin with. There's, like, the one thread on Reddit, just, like, that guy that has all the knowledge about it, and then there's, like, nothing else about the mutation. But as far as I know, that's a legitimate bug, and it's making the mutation a lot more difficult to beat.
So, actually, I'm getting a small bug with the graphs. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but, like, when you actually turn them on for the very first time in a game, it hangs for a second. Like, a half of a second, or, like, 0.1 second. Like, I can't actually accurately tell you how long it is, but then afterwards it's smooth. You can transition between them no problem. I've actually already let the folks at Blizzard know, but hopefully, like, again, a lot of little minor patches for a pretty big patch. I'm okay with that. Things could be way worse. We've seen way worse in the past, too.
That's true, yes. Well, HeroMarine's going for a Banshee build, which I wasn't... I guess I saw the tech lab on the barracks, and I just assumed he's going to get a medevac and get stim. with that tech lab, but actually kind of going old school here. It's not something that Zergs expect too much, but unfortunately their default build somewhat works against it anyway. A lot of queens, a Squirrel doesn't build that slowly, and usually they get at least one in case of a Liberator and they're natural, they can move around. So it'll be interesting to see how much damage you can do.
Yeah, the potential topic of body swapping, by the way, has gotten quite lewd in chat. I just want to throw one last thing about this that really pisses me off when they do it on cartoons and TV shows. I really hate when they swap the voices of the actors. So like the guy talks, but like the girl voice comes out type thing.
Okay.
And I kind of think like it's a little bit like it's done to like walk the audience through. Like if it's not obviously switched, guys, like they should be because they're talking like this, right? But
okay,
I always think like, well, it's really stupid to me. Would your brain, because like it's your mind, and your mind has spent your whole life learning to speak the way it does in your regular body, would it actually default to the person's body that you're in to have their voice, or would you actually sound a bit different because you're used to having a lower voice? Your muscles move differently.
Like the pacing of your voice, like the tone and whatnot would all be very different, but the actual like vocal cords, there's much change in that. Advantage is taking a spore crawler, man. Those are bold, but you know what I hate more than when they do that is when it's all movies nowadays with cats and dogs, pets and stuff. Like real pets still, if they do that anymore. Everything's like animated now, I guess. But they swap from having them just like not do anything, you just hear their mind type deal, like Homeward Bound, to moving their mouth. And I'm just like, is there a point in having the dog animated to move his real mouth? Like, come on. I know what you're talking about. When it's like bad animation of the mouths too. And you're like, I'm okay with the dog being puppeteered, but not in this CGI sort of way. Like, I could get that they're like speaking to each other and they're not actually telepathic. I don't need to be walked through this or whatever. We need to do like a podcast where we just bitch about TV tropes at this point. Like all the things that we've seen, because we've watched a million shows. Like what pisses off the most. I mean, I watched so many like dog and cat movies. I'm like 12 years old. So, by the way, some very interesting things have happened while we've been silly and off topic for this game, and that's a quite large number of Banshees out of HeroMarine. And okay, Banshee Hellion, I'll give it to you. It's an opening that can still work in some circumstances where, most people are favoring Liberators, obviously, but to see 3 Banshees made, period, is certainly odd. It's one with maybe sometimes 2, but what I do like about this is these will be great moving forward. This isn't an instance where there's so many Banelings or so many Zerglings the Banshees can possibly shoot them all. No, it's Roaches and it's Ravagers, and it's possibly Infestors. Like, Banshees should be able to snipe off a lot of good units in the mid-game, as long as HeroMarine's not complacent with these now. Yeah, and he also saved the Hellion, so if there was a Ling swell or attempted a Ling counterattack, like there was in the 3rd base, he would have units to defend against it, if he didn't have Bio, which is... His production's now getting all set up, and he'll focus more on Bio now, but I'm absolutely correct about the Banshees. They can be surprising additional force when you really just aren't used to seeing Banshees anymore. Yeah, I mean, they fall off so quickly. They get picked off by the Queens early on. Like, usually you just don't have this happen, but the Queens go for a dive. That exposes them, and now Serral's in some trouble. HeroMarine on the front lines picks off a couple of them for pretty much, I want to say, free. Well, the Infestor is going to come out, and that should be the end of the Banshees, but, still, again, the push, the actual push to deal with. So that HeroMarine, without a couple more tanks, isn't powerful enough to push past. But the Banshee's going to look for the 4th base. There's a Spore Crawler. They could snipe that if the Queens aren't around. Yeah, we're also getting to that point where Infestors might be out soonish, so I like that he's being very careful about this. Comment in the chat, they're saying, Look Who's Doing is the only movie that did all that sort of, like, telepathy stuff well. Yo, Look Who's Talking was a movie when I saw when I was little and didn't know what sex was. And the movie starts with them making out, then immediately the baby after the intro. And I'm like, oh, so it's kissing how you make babies? Like, I thought that sincerely for years. I don't know what movie that is, but I can imagine the scene. This is not going so poorly for HeroMarine. No, he loses all of his, like, the gas units, that is the Banshees in the tank, but we've got a lot of bio on the ground still left over. One of the really important things that followed up to this, too, by the way, not followed up, but had to do with that fight, the Banshees dived in for the Infestors. No, they didn't kill the Infestors, but that turned all the attention from the Queens and trying to shoot them down, so that's what let their front line get the damage done that it did. It was, as you said, like, that didn't go so badly. And, well, the Banshees weren't as devastating as I was hoping they would be. It was certainly interesting to see them used in that manner. Yeah, it's still difficult to make it work. Again, queens eventually come on the front lines, and there's quite a few of them. Drops into the north was obviously scouted by Serral's Overlord, and HeroMarine should have seen that. And I was gonna say, he'd probably just be better off leaving it and coming back again later, you know, without having to worry about microing the drop itself. But he went in quickly and died quickly, too.
Feels bad.
No multi-pronged attack here. Only one tank as well means that HeroMarine's army really is not that scary. Like, if you're gonna go for tanks, and, like, continue producing tanks well beyond, like, the 10-minute point, I would say, like, double factory first of all, but also just in general, I think his production's been a little, like, you know, he would have to get the upgrades first, or he'd get Marauders first, because only 2 tanks, 3 in total being made this game for having the factory up early. I guess it's a consequence of doing Hellion Banshee as opposed to just bio tank. But it's not a lot of staying power with only 2 tanks, man. Like, it's hardly enough to even scare the infestors.
Yeah, right now it's not scans going down to clean up creep. I mean, HeroMarine's looking like he wants to fight more than to take control of the situation and train, but this has been awkward out of Serral. I'm not sure what the infestors were doing, kind of huddled up there. Corsair's going to land on some of the units, but really not many, and this base probably forfeit. Now, there is a counterattack while this goes on. Several Lings are actually inside the SCV line, but with that one Marauder holding on as long as it did, not many SCVs go down for this.
Yeah, good job, Marauder. Serral's really missing roaches right now. He doesn't have a protective barrier for these Ravagers, so the tanks, first of all, anytime they get shots off, are doing damage. But also just, in general, the bio is really ripping through now that they have 2-2 against just 1-2, and that one is on the melee upgrade. Ultras are almost on the way, though. They still have to come out, and they still have to wait for kind of plating.
I'm not sure how important these Ultras will be, however. A lot of the strength of the Ultras comes to the fact that they soak hits, allowing the units in the back line to do the Ravagers, Infestors, Lings, Banelings, etc. If he bleeds out too many of those now, it won't matter if there's 5 Ultras out. Hell, it won't matter if 5 Ultras out with Chitinous plating if there's nothing to support them.
That's why I like that Serral just pulled back with the army while he still could. It was a little bit risky as the tanks were almost in position, but that's some pretty good splitting from HeroMarine. No good Infestor Fungals, no good Corrosive Biles, and so much for that Roach army.
No, it feels bad. He's going to get that one last Corrosive Bile off, and it's going to kill a lot of units, but not without killing or dying himself. TGs get called, and HeroMarine takes game number 1.
I like seeing I thought babies were warped in. Man, if only. That's a baby, please, coming in.
It's like, no one in the Protoss race is allowed to go back to Ire to see how babies are made, but they just see the warp in. Like, that's it. So
that would create some very interesting lores about how babies are actually, like, what do they have, like...
This is like
baby makers chained up somewhere that no one can see, and they never know how they're made.
It's like Mad Max, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's kind of weird, man. Protoss, please.
Well, we've talked about how, you know, because Protoss don't have mouths, thus they don't need a digestive system, so they probably don't have buttholes either. This would be like, if you're like the rare Protoss born with like holes in you to make me. No, I'm gonna stop it. This is already so stupid.
Okay.
We're getting to game number 2, ASAP. To take some very legitimate complaints from chat from Mama Guys, it's gonna be a 12-hour cast. We're already preparing ahead of time to go crazy, so I don't know. If this particular brand of off-topicness doesn't appeal to you, my sincerest apologies. And if you do want to even go as far as unsubbing to the channel, please do. It's your money. Do what you want with it. But at the end of the day, while we do try our best to put on a good show for the audience, we got to do what we got to do for us. Because if we're just talking super serious, no fun for 12 hours, I don't want to be here for that. We definitely don't make enough money on an average cast for me to want to be here for that. Like...
But people will try to convince us differently.
Mm.
The Hearthstone TLO series has begun, by the way. It's on TakeTV stream, and they're in game number 1.
Aww.
So, if you want to map 2 of that, we're going to have to wait.
I don't mind following Serral and Eutherma. I just don't like that they told us that we'd be doing both. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. So, it's kind of up to you, I guess. Well, Naruto's in a lobby. Okay.
No, they're actually in a game because TLO, I have Unreal ID. I can't Real ID join them.
He's in a custom. Yeah, so do I, but Naruto is available to join game. Is he in the? He might be in the HeroMarine game.
Yeah, like TLO's like he's in the game. He's been in there for like 3 minutes. He says. So.
That's correct. So Naruto was just in the HeroMarine lobby.
Okay, well, it sucks a little bit. We love TLO and we love Hearthstone, but we'll see one of them advance, obviously, and one will go to the losers bracket. We'll have the opportunity to see them more later. Not really salty or sour, just sad, because I really want to cast that match, but it's all good. Because that first game out of Euthermal and Serral here was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was good enough. I mean, HeroMarine...
Or HeroMarine, thank you, sorry, not Euthermal. Sorry.
HeroMarine
Players on the
has
brain.
been looking pretty good. He did defeat Snoots in the WSG qualifiers like a couple weeks ago. Did make it through, so he lost to Nurchio, but that was still impressive in my books. And it was against a Roach style, so I think he just likes that style, maybe, to play against a bit more than Ling styles.
Well, again, like it's like the higher echelon of Zerg players have been trying to mimic players like Nurchio and Snoot. You know, Nurchio goes to Korea, scares people, plays Shoutcraft, beats people. Like, there's a reason to look up to him in the way he plays. He's not lucky. He does things well, and his strategy's smart.
Yeah. And Serral, like in those roaches, I guess. We'll see if he does the same thing on Galactic Process.
Well, getting into game. Spawning here in the upper right side with 1 point under his belt. It's going to be the Blue Terran HeroMarine.
In the bottom left as the Red Zerg, he is Serral.
Alright, and really quick, if you guys haven't, just that reminder to type in, first off, ! Giveaway in chat. G2A has given away some game cards and some, I think it's €10 sets that you guys can win. All you gotta do is, if you're already following the channel, if you're already subscribed to the channel, you can just click the plus button, you'll get entered in for free and get a lot of chances to win. And honestly, it'll just take you a couple of clicks and no time whatsoever. The other part of this, though, is the TakeTV prize pool for this. We want to help them increase it. And again, I don't know. Maybe not a single person has actually gone through, but I feel like my efforts are worth still pushing. And if you guys haven't seen the command, ! TakeTV in chat. That way you can find the links to their subscription page, their donation page, because 50% of all income they're going to make over these next couple days through subscriptions and donations, they're putting directly to the prize pool. They want to make sure that the players, the goal... You know, Naruto said it to me, and I'm going to help try and push this, $3,500. If we can make that the total prize pool for the event, that would be fantastic.
That would be great. That would be the best. Let's start off with 500. I guess the players either really want to play a lot of StarCraft, or maybe thought that they would actually get a lot more. Believe in the power of crowdfunding.
Some complaints yesterday about players, but that's beside the point. I will say what's nice about it is, on one hand, like you're supporting TakeTV, which is great. Yeah, they're taking half of it, not putting it all into the prize pool, but on the other hand of it, like TakeTV and BaseTradeTV and a lot of like sort of this community of people like You've Got Gaming and of course Emil for Polish, like all the casters come together to try and promote this, which is great too. We're not getting paid. We didn't ask to get paid, and I don't think anyone else was either. We just want to share some good games and help raise some money for the players. Let's not forget, too, by the way, like, for a lot of these guys, we've seen this happen on Match Arena with a lot of our events, too. When it comes down to, like, the top 4, that's when people are going to be a lot more inclined to help out. Like, oh, yeah, so Snoot's got a chance to get the money. I'm definitely going to give the money now type thing. Opposed to, like, yeah, it's still 16 players right now. Nobody's been knocked out. It's double elimination, so even the people that have lost are still in it. People might not be so inclined to help somebody like Euthermal get some money if they don't like Euthermal type thing.
Yep. Well, no roaches quite yet, but Serral did have to at least go for a pool first for the possibility that HeroMarine did multiple barracks on this map, because it's still pretty popular for it. HeroMarine, not exactly a 3x type of guy. If it's Euthermal, will absolutely do it. Yeah. And the rarity is him not doing it, in fact. But HeroMarine, not so much. So Serral didn't, go to extremes. He didn't start building a Roachborn just in case. He did just go for the pool first, and then still pretty quickly into his third base.
Oh, apparently, by the way, and I don't know how valid this is, but if they do reach the 3.5k goal, apparently, I guess Naruto and Take are going to jump into the pool or something. I know they're casting in front of a jacuzzi.
I'd definitely jump on a pool for 3,500.
Yeah. Yo, how chill, by the way, is that setup? I'm actually super jealous. They look like they're in like a beach cabana, like just holiday where they're casting.
It's pretty chill. I would set it up for the hot tub, but it's outside. You know, I don't want to go outside.
Oh, sorry, you have a hot tub. I hate you.
Yeah, I have a hot tub.
Yeah, there's some things that are definitely, they stem from my childhood, but I think, A, a hot tub, like, whenever I finally have, like, my own place and all these other things, I'd love to have, A, a hot tub, but second, a trampoline. And I don't mean, like, a little tiny trampoline that's, like, a, 3x3, I mean, like, a big trampoline.
So I never had a trampoline, but all I've ever seen and I feel heard about has been, like, accidents that happen on the trampoline. So
Well,
I'm not too excited for that.
So, fun fact about Rifkin, I know I'm a big fat piece of shit now, but I used to actually be into parkour in high school quite a bit. And there's this gym called Flip City, and it was just like all trampolines. Like, you have like a whole floor made of trampolines, basically. And that was like the most fun, just like jumping around.
Yeah. I could see that being fun. I was not exactly a gymnast, but I did gymnastics when it was fun. But like the ones you can get for your home just do not seem safe. Okay, like I don't trust them. I just imagine getting like 1 foot stuck in. Oh, okay, never mind. I don't want to think about this.
Okay,
So,
I know what fear you're describing, and I've been there, done that. All right, so a little bit of a scuffle happening around the wall, by the way. The queens are doing a great job pushing these back, but now that the tank steps into the fray, I'm not sure if these roaches will get a chance to finish off that wall. It's getting really low. He needs to open it up so the lings can even get through this.
Sometimes these pushes, and there's different varieties of these type of tanks pushes,
HeroMarine.
do a lot of damage, and sometimes don't do any damage at all. But the one tank with the SCV to pull the bunker is pretty cool.
Well,
Serral already had some units coming from behind.
I care a lot less that it was building the bunker, but it actually repaired up this medevac a bit. If you recall, this thing was almost dead. So now it's got a couple more hits it can take. Unfortunately, it does look like the drop is pretty much done for now. He's actually going to go over here and maybe keep pressuring for a little bit, but while this goes on, HeroMarine's got to consider, like, he's got that third finishing up soon, double engineering base. He's going to get those upgrades going. This didn't end the game, but it also wasn't intended to either.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to do a lot more damage, though. And we've seen games end with a push like this, especially if it doesn't get solved immediately. And then you have a second tank come with like more Marines, and the bunker actually finishes. And a lot of that has to do with whether or not the Zerg players are on point about killing these rocks.
Yo, real talk for a donation goal, by the way, because we're joking around, but I'm actually serious. Would you be willing to set up, like, some sort of, you obviously have to be wireless, but have your laptop and, like, cast from your hot tub?
Not in my bathing suit, but in my clothes, sure.
So you would actually just sit in there like in wet clothes as opposed to like wearing a bathing suit.
That's correct.
I guess each their own. I'm not a fan of like getting into a hot tub with jeans. I don't think I'd like to do that. That's like a
I'd probably wear shorts.
Well, then why not just wear a bathing suit? Okay, whatever.
Because bathing, like, you know that bathing suits are different than shorts, right?
You know, Rifkin, that bathing suits for women are very different than they are for men. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, you like, yeah, she's gonna be topless. It's gonna be amazing. Just like I am.
Yeah, here I thought you were just gonna go naked, but okay, I can totally understand now, I guess.
Yeah. Anyways, that would be a weird goal. But sure. That'd great. So, tank push number 2 gets pushed back as well. At least he saves the tank, though. Tanks. And as long as the count can grow. So that last game, it never really got to a lot. You know, he started the tanks late because he built Banshees and Hellions and had to get upgrades and Sim first. And then, just I think through a consequence of like how the macro went, he probably skipped, a couple seconds here and there in the tank. So only 2 is not that scary. It was, I think, a lot more to do with the mass bio. Now, especially on Galactic Process, if you can get up to like 5 and push kind of around this point, but a little more to the left, depending on if they take the base there, or if they take the base to the right, I think the tank pushes are very good.
Yeah, I've actually really been enjoying seeing some of the stronger tank pushes. We got to see a lot of those yesterday, obviously, but just generally speaking, I think they're things I'm never ever going to be able to execute with success, but always nice to watch others do.
Sure. Yeah.
This for me, by the way, is just like my mech soul. Just like, okay, this is the closest I'll get to mech, and that's fine. I can live with that.
Yeah.
It's my consolation. By the way, one thing Serral's been very active about doing, rather than attacking HeroMarine, he's been opening up all of these ramps and all of these chokes. And we've talked about this every time we get on Galactic Process. Even with these being opened, there's still a lot of really nasty chokes on the map to go through. Setting up Liberators is so ideal for a lot of different reasons. Tanks, having people funnel into their splash damage through one of these ramps. So Serral, while not eliminating the problem, reduces it as he opens up a lot of these areas and prevents the chokes from being used against him as easily as normal.
Yeah, but he still has to expand to a point where the tanks will be effective. So I do like that he's breaking all the rocks as well. And I like that they expanded initially to the right side. That's going to be a little more difficult to pressure with the tanks, but if you still have to expand either to the top left-ish or to this space right here, I think that tanks are still going to find that ledge. Either way, so whether it's your 4th or your 5th, you're going to have to deal with this tank push. The 5th you can actually give up, though, if you think you're not going to win against the push, of course, but eventually you're going to need the 5th. Rocks are broken down, Lings flood in, and HeroMarine has been rallying as opposed to collecting his army, and he just doesn't, oh my god, there's no supply depot lifts anywhere.
Well, HeroMarine, I mean, if you see the kid, he's a little bit scrawny, so lifting might be a bit hard for him. I get it.
He's gonna lose all his speeds. This is an all-in now.
Like, this attack did not start off, I think, with the intention of being all-in, but you're right, now it's kind of forced to be. Mules can't even help make up for this.
Well, I guess there's a bunker, that's why he just ran past the 3rd base, but that's like the only thing not being touched here. HeroMarine still has a decent army, but he really needs an abusive position. Oh, no upgrades. He really needs an abusive position for the tanks, and once this 5th base is down, this is actually getting questionable anyway. The tanks were a little, far forward and not abusing ledges. But now that Serral just canceled and moved elsewhere, you can continue doing that.
What's so surprising with this attack on the Serral is I really don't think there's anything too special. Like, that was just a Ling run by that was not meant to get away with so much. Even Serral may be sitting there going like, oh, what do I do with this? I didn't think this would do so good.
Yeah, usually I win. I need a bit more buffer for those Ravagers to go down that ramp again, but he did manage to take out 2 of the tanks, I believe, and a good chunk of the bio. And if he does have to give his 4th base, that's still okay. He should probably wait for Ultras. That will probably be a killing force, and HeroMarine really does not have a lot of hope for macroing, and I think Serral recognizes that.
So it is pretty important, by the way. The upgrades may have been shut down back at home, but at least he got +2 weapons done, so he's got a little bit of damage going for him. That one tank's gonna be left behind, feels bad. Another run by over here to the natural base. Not gonna kill too much, but I don't know, for HeroMarine's sake, I mean, I like Mules as much as the next guy, but as we can see, he's exhausted his energy. He's burning scans, and he doesn't have a lot more coming out. If Serral can clean up this army, that's all he needs to do. Just clean up one time, and he's good to go.
Well, plating did finish. The tank count is, again, high. They were actually chunking through those Ultras, but too much.
Yeah, the corrosive vials at the end. The fungals, just nasty, nasty, nasty. Jimmy Jam Jar says, what is the best StarCraft 2 channel? Why is it BaseTradeTV? Oh, you don't say. Fine, thank you. We're going to go to a small commercial break, though, guys, because we are going to get into game number 3. So stick around, and we'll see you soon. All right, folks, we're back and getting into action for game number 3. It's tied up now 1-1, and we're kind of groaning and moaning a little bit there about the fact that this is still the round of 16. A little bit tired, but that's okay. Early morning cast will do it to you. Getting into this, though, spawning in the bottom right, we get the blue Terran player, HeroMarine.
In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is Serral.
Okay, so Zombie Grub. As I remind you that this is a double elimination tournament where all the games are getting cast, I propose this backup plan for later, because I do feel like we're both... I'm actually feeling fine right now, but I feel like we're both going to hit exhaustion strokes at different points. At some point, we'll just tag off, and you take a 2-hour nap, then I'll take a 2-hour nap.
Maybe that'll
be back
work.
for the finals.
My Twitter isn't working. Is your Twitter working?
Well, seeing as I just used it to link you those things, yes. Yes, it is.
You know, I just figured you had that bookmarked.
I mean, I definitely did not.
Ah, feels bad.
It takes a special kind of waifu for me to bookmark them on Twitter.
Okay.
By the way, HeroMarine.
T-Raxin.
Yeah, he's testing to see whether Serral's lactose intolerant.
Because he's cheesy. I get it. I get it. You know, there's vegan cheese.
Sungrip, I care not for your incessant ramblings of vegan cheese.
It's not that bad. It's actually pretty good.
I don't care, because cheese is cheese is like the pause button, okay? You don't fuck with cheese. You just let it be cheese.
No, you can, I don't, you can make vegan cheese. I don't get it.
I'm not saying you can't, I'm saying you should.
There's no pause button.
No, but like the idea, like
not?
in-game with the pause button, no matter how rude or bad of a dude you are, you don't mess with the pause button. Someone else pauses, you don't unpause. Okay? It's a sacred thing. Cheese?
People have an irrational dislike, alright, of vegan stuff. I'm just throwing it out there, alright?
No, I don't.
I know that chat's gonna be on your side.
The vegan aspect of it has no bearing in this for me. It's just the fact that you're at all messing with cheese. Like, no.
But people mess with cheese all the time. That's how you get other cheeses.
Oh my
That's
god, you're right, because
smelly
jalapeno cheese is so good. What am I saying?
Yeah, calm down there, buddy. Anyway, so the 3 racks was,
Revealed.
again, like, not something that you expect from, well, yeah, it was revealed by now, but it's not something you expect from HeroMarine. It's always a possibility from any Terran on maps like Galactic Process and Frozen Temple.
You're right, and for me, what's interesting most about this is I really don't think HeroMarine is actually that cheesy of a player. In fact, you're probably not going to see him do this too often, but I like that because it's a pretty, we'll call it medium stakes tournament for now, that he's taking it seriously and willing to do something like this in the round of 16. And, of course, talking to a lot of other Zerg players over time, and prominent Zerg players at that, a lot of them will tell you that they don't like fighting against this, but most will unanimously say this isn't fun to deal with. Like, it will either stress them out or it'll put them behind in one way or the other. Some people will just say it's straight up broken. I think that for HeroMarine to do this and still play macro and not super all in, it's a really great choice.
Yeah. I feel like that's the way most people are playing it, but it doesn't... You still have the potential of ending the game. Like, if they do something incorrectly, like they make one too few roaches, or their queen walks out because the AI grabs her, you can still die or lose a lot of drones with this. And regardless of the actual direct economic damage or direct attacks you get, you usually just get the 3rd CC up too, or the production going, and you still can out macro the Zerg player.
Well, so what's actually happened here is HeroMarine has successfully forced Serral into an overreaction. Because he really didn't dedicate that many Reapers beyond the initial ones. And, you know, Sim got started as a priority, Factory came down, 3rd CC got... where is he putting that?
He didn't actually get it.
Oh, my bad. So no 3rd CC, just natural base. But regardless of the 3rd CC aspect of it aside, like the point is he cut Reaper production. He didn't spend an extra 200 gas on Reapers, but instead invested in the Stim Pack and the Factory. And I like that. Whereas Serral made a lot of roaches, as less workers, but also costly units.
Yeah, he definitely could have gotten away with 5 roaches and 2 of them turning into Ravagers. So it's a few more than he really was necessary, but it's almost anticipated that it's not exactly starting off from super behind when you deal with the Reapers. The Reapers do like tons of damage, and of course you're behind, but it's something that's a much slower start and a much more delicate start too for the Zerg player. Whether or not they go roaches, which technically against Serral didn't have to do. Eventually, like, Speedlings could have surrounded what was 7 Reapers. Any more than that, and it's super questionable to rely on Speedlings. But you don't know if they're going to continue building Reapers, so of course you have to go for the roaches and Ravagers. Yeah. And now Serral's getting his 3rd base. This is not enough Reapers to deny that, as we sometimes see. Again, if you have 12 Reapers, you don't see him going to the 3rd base. Reapers only has like 200 health. That thing's gonna go down. So, this case, not so much.
The fact that this is a 2-base all-in follow-up actually strikes me as odd. Just way too used to seeing the 3rd CC. That's why I referenced it when I was talking about it earlier. It's just like, I don't know, initial reaction, just muscle memory, if you will. The 3rd CC finally starts up, but, I mean, HeroMarine put so much into the Marines. Like, really prioritized skipping that command center until just now, and getting those reactors, cranking up the extra Marines. And this follow-up attack... I mean, it's not going to kill Serral, but it's got a lot of units, whereas otherwise you'd be sitting here struggling with not much.
Yeah. The faster stim and the faster medevacs together might just surprise Serral too much. You know, this is a point where he is trying to get his economy still up. He's only just recently gotten 49 drones.
If he's split like this, still anticipating the Reapers, absolutely. I mean, there's like 4 roaches over here, 4 Ravagers over there. Like, just kind of scattered.
He is. He's trying to consolidate right now, but I would say that even all together, it's a bit questionable. If there were more grenades to split these apart and then focus fire the rest,
he's overstimming a lot. I love HeroMarine, but that was like 3 stims in the duration of 1. Like, mistakes were made.
Yeah, that's too bad. Saw an opportunity, I guess, and reactively stimmed when the Reaper is grenaded. That is a problem. That was decent damage, and he saves 2 medevacs worth of Marines and has 2 more doing other things right now. But Serral has successfully defended, and now he's at a point where it's getting a little less scary. Now he's not trying to fit in as many drones. Yeah, it goes up to 61. That's pretty good. He's getting his upgrades as well, all the speeds, and Carapace. And he should have enough to split, as well as enough Overlord and creep spread coverage to know where to split.
Picking up a lot of creep teamers. Got an Overlord with this too. The drop in the south is not that important compared to the one in the north, but it still picks off the Ravagers. Wow, excuse you, Marines. You're not supposed to be able to do this.
That's very rude of you. Well, creep spread's gonna go down over here, I guess. Maybe he won't use a scan. There he goes.
Ah.
This is annoying. It delayed that command center for a good 40 seconds, I would say. Now, 1-1 is only just finishing up for HeroMarine. His army seems to have started maybe a little bit late. Serral already starting his 2 Carapace. The melee is, still important. The Ling's gonna be a little more effective. Ultras, I guess, eventually a little more effective. But I would say it's a lot more about that Carapace upgrade already being done. HeroMarine continuing to harass and find wherever he can, whether it's creep spread or overlords, anything with these drops, while he continues building up his army back at home. Now, what he's missing right now, and is a little concerning, is tank production. So he has 1 tank that would protect him if there was like a kind of an odd attack coming in, but he's not building any more.
Uh-oh. Did you see
I blame the Russian caster.
Yeah, actually, more recently it's been them over Emil.
Yeah. He'll be the new Emil.
We've all been the new Emil at some point.
Not as consistently as he was. The reason he got his meme, whatever you want to call it, he was pretty severe.
It's almost like, by the way, I know it's a StarCraft exclusive meme. I don't think any game actually has one caster that's so universally made fun of for like that one thing. So it's kind of like a bit of honor for Emil at the same time.
I got our Tosis pylon.
Oh, this is bad though. Like if
Game
yeah, I was gonna say if the players are feeling this, then it's devastating. For those who don't know, they changed some stuff when it came to Legacy of the Void. So you'll notice there hasn't been a lot of casters forced out of games in the middle of series like there was in the past, and it's because for whatever reason there seems to be a disconnect between the players playing and the casters. Like there's a lot of instances actually where you've seen me broadcasting my lag of the game, but the players don't see it. Zombie Grub and other casters don't see it. So generally it's okay, but once in a while you will have these hiccups, and maybe it's actually Serral causing the issues.
He might have not felt it at all and just needed, coincidentally, a break to fix a talkie or talk to someone or something. Yeah, it's kind of funny that it's coincidental.
Mom, I'm in a tournament!
No one's mentioned a lag.
Wait, that didn't require a referee to unpause?
There was no referees.
Ah, clever.
Yeah, well, of course, I guess if TakeTV lags out, then either A, they talk to someone who's there, because I'm not sure which one of these guys is there, or the players just are like, oh, TakeTV is kind of important to have, and hopefully pause and think things through. So referee's not necessary? I don't know.
Well, I don't know which players are playing in the studio. There is a good chunk of them that are actually at Take. Again, that's why Harsum's matches were delayed, because him and Tealo are both playing live from the studio. I know Fear's there, yeah. I think.
I want to say the Germans are there. In Germany, I guess. Take a train, man. I'm not sure about the other...
Sake lives like down the street from Take.
Europeans. Yep. So, anyways, regardless, I hate the new feature for the referee. I should probably complain about it. I kind of forget that I have an avenue of complaints.
I would actually really love if, regardless of that for a moment, but for pausing, I wish it had that 3-2-1 thing, like when you recover replay and stuff.
Oh, that is... If they don't know that's been a requested feature, then... Blizzard, please. That has been something that everyone has agreed, I think, with. People also want it to be done when you start a game, so that you load and then it goes 3-2-1, but I'm not so on board with that one. Especially after they stopped making you split your workers manually. God, that was good times.
No,
See people not split for like 5 seconds, or they mess up their split.
I literally just, unless I was in super tryhard mode, I never split. like, ever.
He's just going, I loved learning how to split. I was just such a show-off. A lot of Marauders caught here by a lot of Lings. At least he realized the Ling counterattack is happening. Unfortunately, he did just lose a good chunk of minerals right there.
Well, that's the thing, though. I like that he actually responds to this in a bigger way, because last time he let this go, and he essentially lost the game to it.
Yeah. Well, this time, Serral was a little mistimed, and also it's a smaller map, so the response was able to go through. If HeroMarine had responded on Galactic Process, he would have had to entirely move his army, like, for 10 seconds and still would have lost what SCVs. The attack is now commencing. Again, not too many tanks, but the bio ended up doing work anyway in that Frost game, and I think that same thing is about to happen here. Ultras will have plating when they pop, so much of a better time, I suppose, here. The Infestors don't get those fungals, not looking for them, I guess. Would rather save them for the Infestor Ultra combo as opposed to the Infestor just bio combo.
Ooh, wing attack in the main. It's uncontested, but it's definitely not as dangerous as this force out of HeroMarine. I will say, though, one or two good fungals completely nullifies HeroMarine, but that first fungal not so hot. It will get him a medevac kill, though.
Not bad. Wing attack really not as effective. Doesn't even get the engineering base. So their fourth base is on the way. Loop Raiders are on the way. HeroMarine is transitioning to that late game army, as bio won't cut it once they do get those fungals, or they get a good position on you, or, Queen's Transfuse. Basically, you're gonna, have Loop Raiders as well as potentially tanks and some good focus fire. Yeah. I guess Serral's adding on a Baneling Nest. Seems a little weird to have it at, 13 minutes being added on, along with the Spire, but some Banelings, along with Ultras and Fungals, can be very effective. Liberties are not currently set up. There we go. Those fungals are going to be devastating. The corrosive piles are even worse, and about a fourth of HeroMarine's army's taken out for this. That was so scary. Actually, that was going to be worse, but that was still... It's still pretty bad. It hit a good chunk of the medevacs. Well, Serral did not look to engage because the Liberators lived, and I thought all of them were going to die, so... And I also had Roaches that is, at this point, just giving away. They're not great supply, and he does have a good bank to replace those with. He's going to want to add in Broodlords eventually. So here's the problem, though, right, for HeroMarine. He's on 4 bases, looking for a 5th, but he's still on 1 starport worth of production. So, ignoring the fact that he needs gas very badly, he can't replace a lot of these medevacs he's losing, and that's getting really worrisome, because we see too many of these late-game situations where medevacs are out of energy, which is not common to see, and the ones that are alive are almost dead. Yeah. I would say that HeroMarine went a little too quickly to his 5th base, really. The 5th command center. He wasn't maxed out, so he needed minerals to build more bio. He's still going to get maxed out. Serral's not going to be able to push in, but it's still something that's a little concerning. And yeah, he could have used the extra minerals as well to maybe get a starport, but now he has enough gas to get extra starports. He might want to throw down 2 of them because he hasn't done much damage in a long time. They're around 15 minutes. They already have had Ultras for a couple minutes. All these things, regardless if you scan or not, should be kind of like the feeling that Broodlords could be on the way. And you're going to want to prepare for transition to Vikings if that's what you want to do, I guess. Of course, some arguments can be made that Vikings are terrible anyway. Why bother? But it's usually better to have them and try. It's a pretty nice attack, but HeroMarine's attention going to be diverted here to the natural base. Supply depot was raised, but it only lasts so long. These are going to be 3-3.
He was almost dead from the previous Roach attack and never got repaired up, so that didn't help either. While this goes to attack northwards, he's going to have to clean up some creep if he wants to move that command center over and take a 5th base for sure, but right now, a lot of what he's losing in the main is mostly been supply depots, so it's nothing too dangerous yet. He's not got +3 armor, so losing an engineering bay could suck, especially an armory to go with that. But look at the fight here on the left side, just kind of both players auto-attacking in HeroMarine's main. Attack on the right side actually has an Ultras trying to defend, but it's not going to be good enough, and now this drop gets through to actually kill a Queen, maybe even the hatchery.
Oh, Lings aren't cleaned up. This is scary not for the damage done by the Lings. 13 SCVs and an engineering bay here, hopefully it saves the other one, is... it's something, but 44 SCVs on 5 command centers isn't too terrible either. It's that every single time this happens, HeroMarine might not catch the fungals move in. He might not catch the corruptors that could be made at this point. 'Cause the spire's been done. Second spire's been done, I think. Yeah, this could easily be corruptors coming in, taking out his liberators without him even noticing. If he's bringing back his bio to deal with the counterattacks, the run bys. And of course, his lack of 5th base will start affecting him, regardless if it's his 5th, that I guess is turning into a defensive planetary, or an orbital command. I don't know about a defensive planetary. I realize it's going to be very helpful with all the run-bys happening, but I also know that he's not swimming in money.
Yeah.
It's not even too helpful. The
It's
Ultra's
not-
coming to kill it.
Yeah, it didn't shoot the Lings, it shot the Ultras.
Well, with 3/3 Adrenal Gland Lings, too, a planetary that can be fully surrounded wouldn't last so long anyway. That was
That's
pretty
very
bad
true.
position.
Yeah, no building armor invested into this game. Which is not something you usually need to consider, but I guess one of the rare instances might not be too bad. Main army, though, out of HeroMarine, is seriously good enough to take on a main fight out of Serral. He should actually try and take this fight over here at home, because he'll have his own SimCity to retreat behind, and not have to worry about the Ultras necessarily at face value.
Dangerous, yeah. He saw Liberators kind of clumped up, wanted to go for the Corrosive Biles. Only got a couple of them, but a good fungal Corrosive Bile to the left as well. Still loses a handful of Ultras, I think. 2 or 3 because of the planetary and them just going into the natural, but he does have a bank. Serral just replaces them with Lings as well. Still no Corruptors. I guess he really wants to have HeroMarine blindsided by that transition in case a fight does go poorly for him. But I would say that, you know, Corruptors are very useful. They can take out the Liberators. They can also take out all the Medivacs when you do have these fights where you can actually micro them on top of them, or if you are chasing them as well. A couple of freebies with Corruptors would be useful, but not going for them yet. Like right now. 29 Banelings, though. Okay, well, there's not much splash, so the chances of the Banelings rolling into the heart of the bio is likely even. It's the heart of like a Marauder bio, so I do wonder how effective they're going to be. I guess there's 2 Widow-Mines, my bad. Oh, those are the Banelings. Oh, okay, well, those tanks tried, man.
Yikes. The nice thing for HeroMarine is he can still move some of his command centers around. He actually didn't use his main and his natural super quick like we've seen in other games, so base being down kind of sucks, but didn't lose SCVs. So still sitting on 38 or so is perfectly adequate for 1 or 2 bases at this point. Attack in the north though is getting pretty spread out, and the problem with this for Serral is he doesn't have a lot of Lings to capitalize on this. Like, you gotta, like, a lot of Marauders, a lot of Marines are splitting to avoid the fungals. That's when the Lings should be getting a full surround on them. But they're not. In fact, everything's just kind of being pushed back slowly by these Liberators as they leapfrog forward and bully Serral's army back.
He did replace the supply mostly with Corruptors, which are going to be able to take out the army anyway. There's very few Marines on the ground. Now the Ling fodder's coming through as well, and he'll eventually take this good fight. Not going to wait for Lings, in fact. I would say that was a little bit dangerous. This is the same effect as like Colossus shooting down on your army. As long as the Liberators take out the Ultras, then sometimes even them going down doesn't matter. If the rest of the bio could take on the Ravagers, which almost happened.
Well,
But of course, Serral with a bigger bank,
yeah.
that yeah.
I'd say round 2 is so close to meeting up for HeroMarine, but you just lost too much of that main army. Great series out of the both of them, and good to see Serral doing really well. HeroMarine, for those who are fans of HeroMarine, will still be in this. There's a loser's bracket to fall to, but for now, that's going to be him falling down to that for the time being. We're going to see what's coming up next. Our schedule at this point is completely out of whack, and we have no clue. Whoops, as I kick my tripod there. We have no clue where we're at or where we're going. So I'm going to try and find that information out while we're on break, and we'll see you guys in a bit. Thanks for watching. This will be a bit of a longer break, most likely, while we find things out.